Here's the Spurs news roundup with me, Harry Scarfe, providing you the latest Tottenham news in the last 24 hours, all in one place. In the second part of the video is where I dissect every story, full analysis as I call it, where I give my opinion and get you involved. Hope you're all keeping well. Thank you very much for coming back to the channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. Ignore all the banners and balloons behind me. It's because I passed my GCSEs. But let's get straight into it with the important stuff, and that is firstly the Mail Sport report. Tottenham showing a genuine interest in signing West Ham attacking midfielder Luis Paquetá. Paquetá is now back in the market after he was cleared of the spot fixing allegations. Mail Sport report that Tottenham held further talks with Manchester City over a deal for Savinho on Saturday. Spurs are prepared to offer over £60 million, 60, for the Brazilian. Richarlison has spoken after the Manchester City games, and there's been a lot of meetings, but I like that. Meetings every day. I'm improving the tactical part and I'm training well to improve. Hopefully that comes in handy for our defenders. When it was our second goal, we were able to steal the ball and the goal came out. As I said, I'm going to continue like this, working hard, and hopefully things will happen. Richarlison went on to say, after a long time, I was able to do a full pre-season. Since the PSG game, I've been playing with a rhythm that I've not had for a while, so I've been able to get into that. I've been able to play a good game, and this is a result of the pre-season. That was very good for me. Now I want to be able to continue like this and play like this. Richarlison spoke about Thomas Frank indicating to him from day one he'd like to keep him. Richarlison said it was very important. Since I got here, every time the transfer window opens, my name is circled as the one who could leave, going back to Brazil or whatever. But I've always been focused on Tottenham and I've never had a conversation about leaving. Fabrizio Romano reports that Tottenham want to go over €70 million for Savinho and will try until the end of the window to get the deal done. Savinho is keen on the Spurs move, but now the deal purely and solely depends on Manchester City and what they decide to do. Nathan Ake spoke about Tottenham post-match, saying they played very well, a very good team with a very good manager. We couldn't really play out, and that's one of the main things. Maybe we should have looked more forward and tried to create that way. Fair play to them, but work to do for us. They pressed really high at certain points. We tried to play out, but we couldn't, and that made us very uncomfortable. It's not an easy game to play. Next report from Give Me Sport states that Manchester City are asking for £17 million to even consider selling Savinho. Tottenham at the moment, as things stand, are only willing to pay £60 million. Next, Give Me Sport report that Tottenham Hotspur are growing increasingly confident, though, that they will complete a deal to sign Savinho. Manchester City are surprised about how much the player wants to move to North London. Savinho has been convinced by the role he would play under Thomas Frank and believes he has greater chance of fulfilling his potential at Spurs rather than Manchester City. Nico passed, got an assist and then a fantastic goal with a free kick for Serie A's first game of the season for Como in the Serie A. And Fabrizio Romano says insane talent wanted by Tottenham but considered a crucial part by Como and Real Madrid, who want to keep control on the player. Real Madrid have a €10 million buyback clause next summer. Next, the Daily Mail report that the bio Akliouche has been pushed towards Tottenham after Crystal Palace had 2 bids rejected this week for the Leicester City midfielder. Fabrizio Romano says Tottenham bid worth €70 million package for Nico Pass was turned down Sunday night. Pass wants to stay at Como with a view on his Real Madrid future. He wants to go there. Real will going to match any proposal in any case. Real have a €10 million buyback clause in 2026, but will compensate Como in the future. Matteo Morento reports that Savinho is keen on a move to Tottenham if Manchester City want to sell him. Spurs look likely to bid around £60 million this week. The ball will now be in City's court. Next, Sky Sports report that Pierre Hincapé has decided to leave Bayer Leverkusen if a suitable offer arrives. The decision has been made. It's a Tottenham transfer target, remember. It's been reported anyway. Hincapé has a release clause in his contract, as revealed, worth €60 million, not €65 million, it's 60. Leverkusen still want to keep the player. Son Heung-min got his first MLS goal, scored a stunning free kick in LAFC's 1-1 draw with FC Dallas. Jed Spence was asked on the hardest player he's faced in his career, and Spence says, I don't have one yet. Hopefully I meet him soon. Next, Fabrizio Romano reports that Tottenham tried for Pierre Hincapé a few weeks ago, but it was not possible. Bayer Leverkusen are fighting to keep the player, but there is a lot of interest in the defender, who has a release clause of €60 million. Says Fabregas, Como's manager, was asked on Nico passing the link to the Tottenham move. Fabregas responded by saying, I'm very calm and relaxed. Nico is very happy here at Como. He's a top player. Football Insider report that Monaco will accept a bid of about £47.5 million for 23-year-old French attacking midfielder Maghnes Akliouche. He is a target for Tottenham. The Daily Mail report that West Ham and Brazil attacking midfielder Luis Paquetá, of 27 years of age, is of interest to both Tottenham and also Aston Villa. And lastly, TalkSport report that Tottenham have indicated to Manchester City that they're willing to pay 60.7 million exactly for Savinho, who's very keen to make a move to North London. Those are your Tottenham headlines, quite a lot in the last 24 hours. We'll go through and discuss the key ones. So I want to start by talking about Luis Paquetá. I think would be very good, and obviously there's not a lot of number 10 options out there now. Failed to land both Eze and Gibbs White. We must get a number 10. That's where the priority has to be. The club will now be feeling the pressure. We mustn't panic and get the wrong player in. I mean, look at Ndombele Celso. For me, you get the wrong player ultimately, whether they're panic buyers or not. I'll leave it up to you. We mustn't panic buy. We've done it before. Sissoko in a different position in the previous window is a very good example where we know we need someone in that position. We just end up just paying a silly amount and not getting the right player ultimately. So that's the thing. I think we need to pay up. We've got to get the right player. Paquetá, I think, we're very good. Now cleared of these spot fixing allegations, which is fantastic. And I fancy another West Ham raid just for vibes, really, to get him and Kudus. But West Ham are struggling at the moment, and Paquetá, of course, would be convinced, I think, by Champions League football. Would he want to fracture that relationship with West Ham? I think he'd be okay with that. West Ham, again, would there be a Tottenham tax? There's a lot of questions to ask, but I think that would be a good option. Considering West Ham also reports suggest that West Ham could go back in for Basuma potentially before the end of the window, so could a swap deal be done? Would that leave a short in cover? There's a lot of questions to ask. I'll be open, by the way, to a swap deal for Paquetá with Basuma. I'd worry about cover. Of course, Benska will probably play as a backup for Paulinho. Gray can play this. So we'd be okay, but Basuma is ideal as a backup, and I can't see us going to sign a backup. It would help West Ham to go, look, here's your Edson Alvarez replacement, who's now left the club to join Mourinho's Fenerbahce, in Basuma, and also we give you cash in hand. It would be a cash in hand and Basuma deal. So you get your cash in hand to find a Paquetá replacement. That leaves West Ham in a lot stronger position, I'd argue. Several reports on Savinho. I mean, looks like Tottenham aren't giving up. There's a real possibility I think this happens because City want to make their squad thinner. And if Savinho really wants Spurs and Spurs really want him, I do believe now that this could happen. I think it would be bad to consider, we don't get Eze or Savinho, but it looks like one that's going to drag right until the very end, probably deadline day as well. Good to hear Richarlison speaking really positively, and I think it means a lot to Richarlison as a manager when you come out and say publicly and privately, look, I want you, I want to keep you, you're not going anywhere, you're my starting nine. Richarlison's a confidence player, and I've no doubt that he can. I think he'll keep this form up. It's whether he can stay injury free or not, and Frank has obviously acknowledged that. I think Frank is the right manager compared to Ange to keep players fit. So this could be a real positive season for Richarlison, at least. I do hope so. Fingers crossed. And Nico passed me. I think it'd be a really good signing. By the way, his free kick for Como, special. And he's a special player. I don't know too much about him, but what I do know is that he's just like up here. But what is frustrating is that Real Madrid will have that priority buy, and it just looks like he's going to be Como this summer, and eventually Real Madrid. That is the ultimate frustrating thing. But it would be ideal. But again, I just can't see it happening. It's one of them that's just like extremely unlikely. Akliouche as well, we've got here. I mean, I think it would be an okay option, but I think we could do, personally anyway, a lot better. But we'll have to see. Pierre Hincapié is interesting. I'll probably make the Premier League move. I'm honest with you. What club we go to, I don't know. We definitely need centre-back cover. Happy for Son, kicking off his MLS campaign with his first goal, which is fantastic. He's taken a few games, but he's got there in the end. I mean, Spence speaks publicly about wants to face a top player soon. Hasn't met, the hardest player yet for him, which is, I love his confidence. I admire that, and I think there's no one really better and 1v1 defended at the moment in the Premier League, is what I argue. According to Fabrizio Romano, Tottenham tried for Pierre Hincapié a few weeks ago, but not possible. So that suggests to me that it won't happen. We've got Maghnes, Akliouche as well, and other names in there, which are no surprise, that number 10. But what I will say is that we absolutely need a number 10 before the end of the window. We must, as much as it's frustrating and we want to get it done, we must make sure we are careful and choose the right option. But that is your Spurs news roundup, including your Tottenham headlines in the last 24 hours and fun analysis. Thank you very much for watching. Get involved in the comments below with any story discussed or any opinion that I mentioned. But for now, a massive come on, you Spurs.